Hippie music was a significant cultural phenomenon that emerged in the 1960s, which played a key role in shaping the counterculture movement. During the 1960s, music was heavily influenced by the political and social events happening at that time. Civil rights movements were widespread as many individuals sought to promote the end of racism and segregation. The music of this era often reflects peaceful counterculture, including civil rights, anti-establishment sentiments, and call for revolution. It was a crucial period for civil rights activists and anti-war advocates, with the music industry playing a significant role. Whether it was folk music or rock music, artists has expressed their reaction to the war, turning music into the international form of artistic expression. For hippie music artists and bands, first we have Joan Baez, Jimi Hendrix, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, and the Grateful Dead. Hippie music was characterized by a diverse range of musical styles, and one of the styles was folk music. Popular folk artists expressed their opinions on war, racism, civil rights, and justice through their music. The suggestion of labeling interested the baby boom generation. One of the popular folk artists of the 1960s was Joan Baez. Joan Baez was known as a political singer or activist, and she was known as the queen of folk music. Her clear soprano voice and acoustic guitar skill made her stand out in the folk genre. She was an outspoken critic of the Vietnam War, and her anti-war songs like Where Have All the Flowers Gone and Saigon Pride reflected the current events and political struggle of the time. Mays was participated in various social justice causes, and her music often became a rallying cry for those who advocate for change. Another song by Joan Baez was We Shall Overcome. This song was the national anthem of the civil rights movement, which opposed racial injustice. It offered comfort, courage, and hope for equal rights for African Americans as protesters confronted prejudice and hate in the battle. Jimi Hendrix was a highly influential figure in the realms of hippie music and the counterculture movement of the 1960s. Hendrix's songs often reflected the spirit of the hippie movement, addressing themes such as peace and love. Song by Jimi Hendrix was Purple Haze. Purple haze can be described to the effect of LSD or some other psychedelic drugs. Reflected the sexual revolution of the 1960s and reflected the cultural and political upheaval of the time. The lyric acting funny but I don't know why can be seen as a commentary on the confusion and frustration of the young generation who were rebelling against traditional values and institutions. The reference to a new day yesterday can be interpreted as a call for change and renewal. The British invasion kicked off with the rise of the rock band The Beatles, opening the door for other British rock bands to make their debut in America. Although the music from the British invasion was more intense, it still encoded the peace-loving counterculture that was incorporated in folk music. The Beatles song All You Need Is Love became an anthem for the peace and love movement of the 1960s. The song's simple and universal message of love resonated with the idea of the counterculture movement at that time. Other popular songs like Revolution clearly express public concern about safety during war times. Those songs are popular in this rock era, encouraging people to embrace pacifism and advocate peace instead of putting American life in jeopardy. This song not only reflect the emotion of public but also educate people on the importance of unity over segregation. Songs by the Rolling Stones like Gimme Shelter, Street Fighting Man, and Sympathy for the Devil reflected the political turmoil and social turmoil of the 1960s. It captured the spirit of rebellion at that time and solved issues such as political protest and desire for change. The late 1960s saw numerous protests and demonstrations, including those against the Vietnam War and for the civil rights. In addition, the Grateful Dead was at the forefront of the psychedelic rock scene, providing a musical soundtrack to the hippie movement. Their improvisational and electric style, usually characterized by extended line performance, resonated with the free-spirited nature of counterculture. Songs like Uncle John's Band and Ripple has poetic lyrics that deal with themes of community, love, and transcendence. The Grateful Dead allowed the public to experiment with LSD and enjoy music, dancing, or everything about hippie movement. The connection between the Grateful Dead and the hippie movement was not only their music but also their commitment to community life and the sense of unity of their fans, which was called the Hippie culture.
Hello everyone, my name is Ang Wenbin and my metric number is C21A182. Today I want to talk about the hippie fashion. At its core, hippie fashion is about energetic self-expression. It is characterized by a laissez-faire attitude towards traditional fashion norms. This sectorial rebellion transcends male clothing and evolves into a lifestyle that rejects strict gender norms, embraces puppy life, and advocated a utopian vision of a harmonious society. Hippie fashion became a visual expression of counterculture ideology, challenging authority, questioning the status quo, and envisioned a more equal and harmonious world. O.C. Clark was a British fashion designer and CWT was a British textile designer. They collaborated to create an iconic bohemian style. Their design feature flowery fabric and bomb print that include botanical and psychedelic patterns that become synonymous with the hippie movement. The impact of their work extends beyond fashion to the art as well. Their design successfully demonstrate the importance of Mick Jagger and Tricky in London switch period of the 1960s. Their work reflects a rejection of mainstream traditional fashion in favor of free personal style. Bright pattern and unconventional cut represent a desire for self-expression and a departure from social norms. Isaroro is one of France's most famous fashion designers. His boho chic collection played a key role in the fashion aesthetic which is associated with hippie fashion. His folk, gypsy, and Lucia collection showcase luxurious fabric and intricate design inspired by ethnic and folk tradition. His design featured person shirt, long skirt, and rich turquoise tone. His influence was not limited to hippie culture. He introduced cultural appreciation and diversity into high fashion, breaking the traditional haute couture model. His fashion design represents the fusion of high fashion and hippie movement culture and the display of diversity, reflecting the era attempts to break down barriers and embrace different culture. The influence of this design can still be seen in contemporary bohemian fashion. Laura Ashley is a Welsh fashion designer and female entrepreneur. The style is rusty and romantic nostalgic. Natural fiber, floral prints, and vintage design created a timeless and nostalgic appeal. She impact on society was that she popularized a softer, more romantic style within the hippie movement. Not only did it influence fashion, it also led to cultural change and wider shift in social attitude at the time. Her design resonated with eco-friendly and back-to-basic value, as well as a desire to get back to nature and life simply. Janis Joplin is an American rock singer. She is known for her diverse boho fashion sense. Her costume, often with colorful feathers and tuxes. Her rejection of mainstream fashion norms inspired a generation to embrace a more free-spirited and non-conformist personal style. Not only that, but her fashion choice often include androgynous elements. This has proved teach culture conversation about gender equality to become more widespread in society. Her hippie fashion reflects the rebellious mood and a creative lifestyle a generation against the society at the time.
My name is Sham Cheng Yi. My metric number is C21A2145. Today I want to talk about hippie drug. Popularity among the counterculture movement of the 1960 years and 1970 years. Timorelli was a psychologist and a key figure in the counterculture movement of the 1960 years. He became renowned for his advocacy of psychedelics drug, particularly LSD. Here are some roles that marijuana play in the hippie culture. The first one is marijuana, which is cannabis. The second is LSD, lysergic acid diethylamide. The third one is psilocybin mushroom. The fourth one is MDMA, ecstasy, which is ecstasy. The last one is mescaline. Timuri, he is born on 1920 and he passed away on 1996. He is an American psychologist and key figure in the 1960 years counterculture. He advocated for psychedelic drugs, notably LSD. He coined the famous phrase like turn on, turn in, and drop out. He embraced a philosophy of personal freedom and exploration, iconic figure among the hippie counterculture, and he also influenced a generation with ideas about using psychedelics for spiritual and psychological exploration. And now I want to explain some drug that very famous in hippie, which is marijuana and mescaline. Mascherina, he got 5 point here, which is expanded consciousness, symbol of peace and love, resistance against social norms, creativity and art, and the last one is community and sharing. About the masculine, they actually expanded consciousness, artistic expression like other psychotherapists. Masculine was believed to inspire artistic creativity, influencing the world of artists and musicians within the hippie movement. LSD is a potent hallucinogen that has a high potential for abuse and currently has not accepted medical use in treatment in the United States. Psilocybin mushroom, commonly known as magic mushrooms or shrooms, as a polysyllabic informal group of fungi that contain psilocybin, which turn into psilocin upon ingestion. Thailand began the process of marijuana legalization in 2018 when the government passes a law allowing the medical use for cannabis. Here got 5 points that why Thailand legalizes cannabis in 2018, which is the first one is legalization motivation. The second one is Thailand's approves. The third one is modern cannabis landscape. The fourth one is hippie movement connection. The last one is potential impact.
All right. Good morning. My name is Lenki Singh. My number matrix is C21A1769. So from today, I will explain about the lifestyle of hippie. So from the lifestyle choice aspect, so the old hippie is made lifestyle choice. They challenge mainstream norm. Many embrace intentional communities or commute, pretty free love and prioritize apparent living over material accumulation. Their fashion characteristic by tie-dye sheet, modern jet, and psychedelic art, symbolizing a rejection of mainstream country and embrace of individual expression. So for the new hippie, it is to modern realities, international communities, organic farming, and sustainable practices like recycling and upcycling remain prevalent and navigating a complex cultural landscape. Their brand retains aesthetic with contemporary fashion, music, and art form. Their choice reflect a synthesis of past ideas and present realities, enhancing adaptability, creativity, and authenticity. So for lifestyle in engagement with technology and media, before the digital revolution, the OHP is communicated through face-to-face and interaction. Grassroots publication, underground newspaper, and alternative media channel. Succession of mainstream narrative, they provided human connection, community gathering, and grassroots activity as means of social change. So in contrast, the new Hippie inhabit a DGS characterizing by connectivity, social media platform, and digital activists. When critiquing the superficiality and commercialization of digital culture, they harness technology power to advocate for cause, share information, and build a global network. So for the value and belief in hippie lifestyle, the foundational value of hippie revolve around anti-establishment belief, communal solidarity, and spiritual exploration. They sought to dismantle oppressive system, create alternative communities, and deepen their connection to nature and humanity. Spiritual practice often integrate Eastern and makes expanding aspiration facilitated by psychedelics. So for the new hippie, even they are relevant but interpret them within contemporary content. When some emphasize communal living, eco-consciousness, and spiritual exploration, other focus on digital activity, LGBT, and intersectional feminism. The hippie lifestyle in the society. They're born in the post-war era. The old hippie emerged amidst the turmoil of the Vietnam War, civil rights movement, and environmental concern. Motivated by a federal desire to challenge the establishment, their fledgling advocated for peace, civil rights, and environmental conservation. So in contrast, the new hippie is find themselves navigating a world shaped by globalization, technological advance, and the contemporary social political issue, where they're sharing a nostalgic reverence for the original hippie movement. Their motivation extend beyond mere anti-establishment sentiment. Here is the example of celebrity in hippie community. So the first one is Bon Dylan. So he is a singer-songwriter, and their music is very powerful tool from expressing anti-establishment sentiment and advocating for social change. And the one popular song in her life is "The Time They Are Changing." It is released in 1964. This ironic song reflects the social upheaval and cultural shift of the 1960. So the second celebrity is Emma Watson. So known for her activity in gender equality and environmental sustainability, Watson is represent the evolution of hippie idea into the 21st century. Her commitment to digital evidence use the social media as a platform to address global issues, exemplify the neo hippie engagement with the technology and the media. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lee Leslie and my metric number is C21A1765. The topic today I'm going to discuss is the protest. The anti-Iraq war protests in 2003 echoed the anti-war sentiment of the hippie movement. Like their predecessors, protesters opposed what they perceived as an unjust war, driven by political interests rather than genuine threat. Similar, similar to the hippie movement, music and cultural expression played a vital role in the anti-Iraq war protests, and the both movements emphasized the importance of peace and sought diplomatic solutions over military interventions. So, how did the protest came to be? It all started when the United States government began to argue for the necessity of invading Iraq, which formally began when a speech was made by US President at the time, which was George Washington Bush, to the United Nations General Assembly on 12th September of 2002. The protesters' skepticism about justification questioning political motives over genuine threats, which many questioned the motivations behind the intended conflict and opposed the idea. The anti-Iraq war movement advocated for diplomatic solutions and inspections as alternatives to military action. So, compared to the hippie movement, the anti-Iraq war protest was more focused on challenging the rationale behind the invasion, unlike the draft-centric focus of the hippie movement. Moving on, similar to the hippie movement, the anti-Iraq war protests were global. Millions participated worldwide, coordinated by groups opposing the invasion of Afghanistan. It was the largest ever protest mobilization in Europe, with 3 million people gathering in Rome, which was officially recognized as the largest ever anti war demonstration in the history by the Guinness Books of Records. Additionally, youth activism played a crucial role, mirroring the hippie movement's emphasis on young people as agents of change, which expressing a deep sense of responsibility for shaping the world they were inheriting. The worldwide and youth-centric nature of the anti-Iraq War protests reflected the global essence seen in the hippie movement during the 1960s. Although the protests against the Vietnam War were primarily centered in the US, they had ignited anti-war feelings on a global scale. Other than that, music played a pivotal role in the anti-Iraq War protests in 2003. Artists and musicians used their creative platforms to articulate anti-war sentiments and engage the public in a way that resonated emotionally and intellectually, which shared significant similarities with the hippie movement. Among the notable musics were Neil Young's "Let's Impeach the President" and Green Day's "American's Idiot", which actually became the anthem for the anti-war movement. Other than music, visual arts including posters, graffiti, and other forms of artistic expressions were used to convey anti-war messages. Symbols like peace signs and anti-war slogans became prominent visual elements. One of the most known artists for his work was Banksy. Banksy's activism is his stance against all forms of war and violence. Among his works, Bomb Love, a young girl clutches a missile to her chest like a present, and C&D Soldiers, where it depicts two soldiers dressed in full combat gear painting a bright red peace sign onto a wall, and Napalm, where he inserts the figure of a crying child from an original photograph taken during the Vietnam War between a cheerful Mickey Mouse and Ronald McDonald. And lastly, Happy Choppers, where an ominous military helicopter are wrapped in pink bows against a baby blue sky. These were powerful anti-war images which have perhaps never been more relevant.